Hey tribe, welcome. Welcome, you beautiful souls. Hello, hello. Happy 11/11. I
All
think that was
good.
a mixture of like happy and hoppy all at the same time. I haven't done any hopping yet today, but maybe soon.
Maybe.
He's so good though. Been using a lot of marshmallow tea lately. Marshmallow.
I'm excited to make real marshmallow with it.
Yeah, because it's a wonderful herb for cold and flu season, and then it makes those wonderful marshmallows. When you go to the store and you see all those white marshmallows and you check the ingredients, marshmallow itself is not even one of the ingredients anymore. You have to go to specialty shops to get them. So it's really cool to just, yeah, I think it's like a gar. Is it a gar? We add to.
Oh, the agar?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, like a gelatin.
Yeah. And some of the collagen powders might even work for that too. I'm sure that there's tons of recipes if you just go Google it. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm excited to try it ourselves. Gotta wait till both kids are together though, because it'll be more fun for them.
They'll enjoy it, yeah. So what's on our topic for today?
Well, there's a few things. I noticed that a lot of people have been inspired lately getting off medication. The longer elemental growth is going, the more inspiration, I guess, comes, because there's so many amazing members that are making progress. So then the ones who are still holding on to their sickness, to their identity of their sickness, holding on to their medications, like as if it's like knowing that it's not helping them, but still holding on in fear that things would get worse because they know what it's like to be worse, and I think people forget that, you can never step in the same river twice, because you're not the same person as you were yesterday, and the river is always flowing and changing too. And so if you do go off the medications, you need to remember you're not the same person as you were before you went on them, and the medication isn't the same, because even though it as a chemical compound stays the same, it's not going to influence your body the same way. It's the same reason why in nutrition school, the main takeaway that I had after studying hundreds of dietary theories was that no diet is right for one person. It's not going to be sustainable for everybody, and that we're ever changing, and that men and women need different diets, and that anybody prescribing a diet that's not talking about men and women eating different foods has no idea what they're talking about. Anybody who's talking about diet and not talking about eating with the seasons and eating local food, they have no idea what they're talking about. And I think it's important here that if you're working with a doctor that's not understanding of that you're an ever-changing being, and that medications aren't going to work for the long term, that they can't just prescribe you something and say you're going to be on it for life, or for 40 years, or for 16 years, or for 14 years. Because these are the numbers that I hear when I'm in the group, right? Is that you guys have been on medications for a long time. And I understand it being scary. And I understand that sometimes your doctors are going to be amazing, and that they're going to know their stuff. And that some of your doctors are really stuck in their ways and are going to hinder you from doing your work to do, which is getting off these medications. And so what I want to remind you guys of here is that your body, your miraculous body that you were born into and likely chose on your own accord, has everything it needs to heal itself. Everything. That's what the doctors don't want you to know, is that you already have the tools to heal yourself. The problem is that you get in your own way. The problem is that that it's a mindset problem, that 99% of problems start in the mind. That's all it is mind manifestations, and it's mind manifestations in a negative way. Just like we can use auto suggestion to manifest some good shit in our life, we're also using auto suggestion to keep ourselves in the hell that we don't want to be in, to keep ourselves on a medication, keep ourselves sick, keep ourselves comfortable, keep ourselves in poverty, keep ourselves just living a lower quality of life than what we're meant to be doing, to keep us working a job that we hate. It's your guys' responsibility to take your power back, take your mind back clearly and without regret. Just do the thing. Get out of your own way so that your body can heal itself. And the way that we get out of our own way, the way that we take our power back, comes down to the same issues that I know you guys are struggling with too, when it comes to productivity and staying on schedule and making sure you're getting in the self-care, actually scheduling in. Yeah, I need to do yoga. Yeah, I need to go shopping for healthy food, and I need to actually carve out the time to home cook and learn what that looks like, and actually research some recipes and actually watch video tutorials on how people are doing these things. Some of you that do know how to cook and still aren't doing it, like a little tap there, like, you guys, you already have the skills. That means you're ahead of everybody else. With today's culture, so many children are being born on microwave dinners, and that is no way to cook. So if you already have those skills, then you're already ahead of the game. The other thing that you guys need is physical activity, hydration, sunlight, the circadian rhythm, like rising and setting with the sun, making sure you're getting that quality sleep, making sure that you're in alignment to Mama Nature, eating with the seasons, eating locally, finding some foraged foods, finding a spiritual practice, which from a lot of people, they find that in nature when they're earthing, or when they're walking and doing a walking meditation, or when they're gardening, but for others, this might be yoga. I love nature yoga, but I also love Kundalini yoga in the winter time when I'm not barefoot outside. In the summer, I go right for nature. I'll do yoga in the trees and, hug them along the way. And these kinds of things are important. You want your spirituality, you want your fitness, you want your alignment to Mama Nature through the seasons, the moon cycles, the sun cycle. You want to be eating right. These are the things. If you're stuck in your mind telling yourself all the time, I'm not well, guess what? Instead of ruminating on that, you could be getting yourself better. And I also want to bring up book Think and Grow Rich. I know I always talk about Napoleon Hill, and this is one of the best ones. What he's saying here, I'm going to read out a couple things from here, but repetition of an affirmation of their orders to your subconscious. This is the only known method of voluntary development of the emotion faith. And so what Dr. Dan says is that hope is for beggars and faith is what you actually want. I truly, I know that hope has gotten me through a lot of things, but it's my faith that, helped me actually live, to be honest. I had hoped that I would live beyond 30 with my kind of lifestyle, drinking the way I did and partying the way I did, and holding on to stress and trauma, like as if it was my identity. Like I totally wanted to hold on to that. I'm like, oh my God, I'm damaged and it's everybody else's fault. And that's just the way it is. And until everybody hates my abusers as much as me, I just held on to it, but I had to let go. And when I started doing the mindset work and I started releasing my attachment to these kinds of things, what came up was these other positive affirmations that developed inside of me a stronger emotion than hope. And that emotion was faith. And with faith comes self-confidence, because with faith comes the belief that you can do it. And once you believe it, you actually start to see it. You know, are you guys following here? All right.
I follow.
Now I'm going to bring you guys the gem. And you guys may already have a copy of this. Maybe I sent it to you while coaching. Maybe I haven't yet. Maybe this is your first exposure to the self-confidence formula. But this is going to be a great mindset tool for you guys. And if you want an actual copy of it, let me know. I may even link it in here for you guys in the group, because it's a really powerful one. And you guys can repeat this each day. You guys can follow this up with your own personal affirmations. You guys can record yourself and listen to it at night as you're sleeping and really get it deep into that subconscious mind. You can use these things from this book. You know, it's not about just getting rich. It's in money. It's about developing a lifestyle where you're rich in all areas of your life. And that includes your health. How are you going to spend your riches if you're not healthy? How are you going to enjoy it and be happy if you're stuck on Xanax and Zoloft and everything else under the moon that everybody's prescribed these days? You know, if you're not yourself and you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be happy enough to be able to enjoy the wealth, let alone being able to tap into it in general. Some people get lucky and can tap into it. This is more than luck. This is faith. The emotion of faith that actually helps you manifest and tap into that law of attraction. So you're getting actually what you want and not more of what you don't want, because what you focus on is what you're actually manifesting. We are creative beings. We are artistic geniuses making a masterpiece called life. And it just so happens that all of our individual masterpieces create the collective consciousness, which we can all tap into. So we can tap into each other's creativity, and together we're all this amazing artistic studio, and we get to walk through and we get to learn and be inspired by other people's masterpieces, and at the same time get to openly express our own. But when we're attached to an identity or attached to our trauma or attached to our sickness or some kind of identity that somebody else has thrust upon us, whether it be a parent or a doctor, it's sometimes it's even children that throw that on their parents. You know, I've run into this in the past too. What's really important though is that you disassociate with it. Don't identify with it. Instead, just observe in those moments and come back to a tool such as this, such as your affirmations, or what I'm going to read out to you guys, the self-confidence formula by the great Napoleon Hill. And you know, let me add too that this guy, he was the start of it all. You know, this is where Tony Robbins was inspired from. This is who Abraham Hicks and Louise Hay is getting all of their law of attraction information from. Jack Canfield from Chicken Soup for the Soul. All of this comes from this same guy, Napoleon Hill. Like, this book came out in the 1930s, and he had so much to share, so many wisdoms. So it's really important, or it was for me in my own journey, to come back to the roots. And, you know, that makes a lot of sense if you know me at all. Get back to the roots of the problem. I also want to get to the roots of the solution too, so that I really understand it. Okay, so here we go. There's 5 parts to this. And I'm going to read them one by one. The self-confidence formula. First, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definitive purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. So in other words, whatever your definitive purpose is, you know, and this could be ever changing. We all do have a definitive purpose in life. That one word, like Simon Sinek wrote about, he wrote an entire book on one word and helping you guys find that one word. So that is a purpose. But if you're not there yet and you don't see that purpose and you don't know that purpose, then guess what? You got a greater purpose, a more instantaneous purpose, the purpose of getting healthy, the definitive purpose of getting clear, the definitive purpose of getting yourself out of poverty, the definitive purpose of finding yourself a residence, or of caring for your child, or of whatever. There is a more pressing definitive purpose than the big picture at this point in time in your life. Once you have this down, you can use it for all that other stuff. You're not married to that definitive purpose only, okay? In this kind of relationship, when we're doing this work, you can go one at a time, and have the compound effect work in your favor. So you start with health, and then it moves into impact, and then it moves into clarity of purpose, and then it moves into your actual purpose, that one word, but you got to start somewhere. And for everybody, it's going to be a little different, right? Like that diet piece. There's a different diet for everybody, depending on how old you are, depending on where you live, depending on your ancestry, depending on how stressful your life is, depending on where you live, depending on whether you're pregnant or not pregnant, depending on whether you move a lot and you're on the road. There's so many different aspects to this. So my advice here, reading this out, is start with where you're at. So if right now the definitive purpose is just get healthy, be sustainable outside of the current medical system, outside of big pharma, then have that be that definitive purpose. And then demand, the key here, demand of yourself persistent and continuous action towards the attainment of that goal. Health is that goal. Then you need to take purposeful action every single day. Know what those action steps are and know what you're doing. Hydrate first thing when you wake up in the morning, right? Number one, wake up your organs with hydration. Number two, look up at the sun, get that vitamin D into your eyes, or close your eyes, open this third eye, and see what downloads you can get from Mama Nature, from the collective consciousness. Can eat some healthy foods, get those greens into you, get those superfoods into you. Another one would be move your body, do some somatic shaking or some somatic breath work, do some yoga, something that feels good for you, that always helps you feel happier and healthier. Make sure you're getting that in, right? All right, second, here we go. I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Right? You guys are powerful beings here, transforming stuff. Okay. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person, right? So if you guys want to manifest something, you guys want, I don't even know how often people just come to me or they write to me in the clarity call, law of attraction, that's what I want. Okay, sure, it's easy to say. There's so many mentors and teachers that are going to help you do that, tap into the law of attraction. But how many of you actually get there? Not many, because you can't see it. Not many yet, I should say, because it's happening. It's just not happening yet. And the reason why is because you actually have to visualize and know, like as if your future self is another person out there in the universe, and have a conversation with that person every day. Have that call forth that sage, wise, older version of yourself to be with you here and now and show you and role model for you how to live your life better. What would that sage, wise, older version of yourself be doing each day? How would they be spending their life? How would they make decisions? And if you're an indecisive person not making any decisions, then really tune into that one, because decisiveness is really going to help you here. Be decisive. Know who it is that you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to have in this life. What do you want to do, be, and have in this life? Know that. Encompass that into that person and visualize yourself literally becoming that person, literally doing those things. You can even bring it more present in the moment and start doing those things today. If you're not there yet, if it seems unreachable, then just do it mentally. And 30 minutes a day, I think, is totally doable, especially if you are habit stacking it with a 30-minute shower, or brushing of the teeth and doing your morning steps, or of just laying in bed, hitting the snooze button, and you go into meditation. I do not recommend hitting the snooze button because it's a representation of hitting snooze on life. But if that is your habit, and if that's where you're at now, then when you hit that snooze button, go into meditative state and start calling forth that version of yourself. Are you guys following here? Would you like me to move to number 3 now, or do you have any questions? Just put your fingers up. All right. Number 3, third. I know through the principle of autosuggestion being your affirmations, okay? Any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence, right? So if you're a client of mine and you've ever done the Trinity text with me, you know I get back to you a whole bunch of affirmations. I take all those automatic negative thoughts that you have. I take all of those ants that are in the back of your mind, creating colonies of negativity, of complaining, and I create powerful affirmations. This is for a reason, you guys. This is for such a good reason too. This is so that you have all the tools for autosuggestion. It's your job to build confidence by using it. You actually have to use these affirmations, practice them every day. It may only take 10 minutes. If you want to record them and have them on a playlist at night, or listen to them in the morning or in the car, you know, that's great too. But really, all you need is the 10 minutes. Pick your favorite ones. Pick the ones that are most pressing for you now. Take 10 minutes and just recite them, or to listen to them, or journal upon them. You know, really get deep into this, build on this autosuggestion, because once you have the confidence and the belief is there and the faith is there, these powerful emotions backing it up, this is when the transformation happens. And here's another thing too, right? You know, some people will say, I just need to win the lottery. I need to win the lottery. I need to win the lottery. I need to win the lottery. And then they win the lottery. Okay. Not for everybody. Not everybody wins the lottery, but some people do. Those people, what happens when they win the lottery? And I know this from personal experience. Okay. My mom dated a lottery winner. I know what happened. All that money was gone really fast. Gone. Nothing. Okay. He's back to square one, back to poverty. I hear these stories over and over and over again, experiencing it firsthand, really solidified that for me, that you really do have to have the confidence. You really do have to have that mindset development, because if you don't have it, you're going to revert back. And this is why the self-confidence and doing this affirmation work, the autosuggestion work, is so important, because it solidifies a new foundation for you, a new belief system where you can grow and thrive. Whereas somebody who's just winning the lottery, they don't know how to invest their money. They don't know how to spend their money. They've never gone deep. They've never gone any deeper than a wish. Okay, so, and that's what we're doing here, right? We're doing the work. We're going deep. We're building that foundation up. We're building our mindset up. We're literally transforming the complaints that we have in our automatic negative thoughts into something that is more powerful. And the more that you work with auto-suggestion, the more believable those affirmations become, and eventually transform themselves into an outward physical representation of that which you were asking for from the beginning. We're good on this? Your food looks amazing, Tristan. I think it's cool. You're like really relaxed, or just like
Sure food. You made it. I'm just eating it.
oh, the curry. Man,
I got a bowl for you ready when you're ready.
perfect. Thank you. I had no idea what you had in mind, but yeah, curry. Love it. Especially my curry. So good. I don't mean to toot my own horn or anything, but all right, everyone good for the fourth? All right. Fourth, I have clearly written down a description of my definitive chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. So again, Napoleon Hill talking here about his chief aim in life. So Napoleon Hill, a little bit of his background was that he didn't have any money for college. So he made a deal with the college that he would write articles, and that would pay for his tuition. And one of the articles was to interview the great Dale Carnegie, who was the richest man in the world at the time, or one of the richest men. Anyway, maybe not the richest, but he was up there. So Napoleon Hill went. And while he was doing the interview, it turns out that Dale Carnegie was also interviewing him, because Dale Carnegie had a mission. And he needs somebody to help him fulfill that mission. And that was to take all of the principles that are in this book, that are in many of Napoleon Hill's books, and share them with the world. And there was a specific amount of principles and a specific way that Dale Carnegie wanted it, but Napoleon Hill didn't know any of this. He just showed up on a whim, said he wanted to go to college, found a way to make that happen for himself because he had confidence. Then he goes, meets with one of the richest men when he is in poverty, and he stays with him for 3 days, being interviewed by Dale when he was supposed to be doing the interview. And by the end of the 3 days, Dale Carnegie said, I want to hire you, but there's no pay. I'll pay for your travel for you to do the interviewing of all the greatest minds alive. But I need to know that you're going to do this for no money for 20 years. If he wanted to make money, he could on his own accord, but this was going to be his definitive chief aim in life. And he agreed, and he did it. It wasn't even his goal. But he did it, and he committed to it. And for those 20 years, he published many books, and some of them, millions upon millions of copies sold. That is a lot of money in his pocket. A lot of his books and work didn't even come out until after passing, which happens with a lot of amazing artists, as we know. But this was one of his definitive chief aims in life, was just do this work, get this information out to the masses, so that it's not just for a few selective people. It was to take the power of all the greatest minds like Edison and get it into a book. What helped Edison, keep going beyond all of the failures that he had? What helped Henry Ford keep going when everybody was telling him no? What helped Marconi, whose friends actually committed him to a psychiatric ward for thinking that he can make a radio have frequencies actually share and connect messages? He was committed to a psychiatric ward by his friends and family. So what helped him or kept him motivated to keep going, to keep having faith that a radio would be invented, by pure nature? So these were the kinds of things that between the two of those men, they wanted to get out to the mass public. Another definitive chief aim that he had was once his son was born. His son was born with no ears, so he couldn't hear. Doctor said, your son's never going to be able to speak or listen. You're not going to be able to hear anything. So he took this as a definitive chief aim in life, to instill in his son the fact that his son would be able to hear. And by the time his son hit college, he was able to hear. He was they had little glimpses of him being able to hear throughout his life, but it wasn't until college that he actually was able to manifest that. All right. So sometimes these things take time. And, you know, and this is coming from Napoleon Hill. It doesn't have to be one chief aim. You start with one, and eventually that turns into another one. And eventually that turns into another one. It's just having focus, single pointed focus, one at a time, that's going to help you here. Right? So you want to write this down. You want to know what is it that you want, right? And we write it down through the affirmations, but I want you guys to write down whatever that is. You know, is it money and riches? Is it health? Is it happiness? Is it, you know, to help a child or to help a client? What is it? And then you use the affirmations to sufficiently develop that self-confidence, okay? Fifth, and this is the final one, and then I gotta go, but we can do a Q&A on this later, all right? So fifth, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. Right? This is why we have to let go of that trauma, guys. Let go of it all to make room. This is why we do Trinity text the way we do. It's so that the positivity doesn't stick to the negatives and bloat us up, make us constipated, fill us up beyond belief. You know, we want to eliminate that stuff. Give yourself an emotional colonic. Let go of it all so you can fill that space with the positivity. So I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and I will believe in myself. I will sign my name to this formula, committed to memory and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I will become a self-reliant and successful person. May I just add, on your own accord, right? Like that's the big one. You don't want it to be somebody else's version of success or somebody else's version of riches. That changes depending on where you live, right? We have a crazy Jones effect here in North America. But you go to South America, people are happy, there's celebrations all the time. I mean, it depends on where you are. In some places, there's also war and, you know, and famine and all these other things. So you want it to be on your own accord. What is health and happiness for you? What are riches for you? You know, we know this, like I got a friend who owns a reuse store. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So what's treasure for you? What do you actually want? And figuring that out. For any of you that are going through the withdrawal symptoms of pharmaceutical medications right now, are making the decision to come off of these medications you've been on for a long time. For any of you that are wanting to create your own business and just not sure what steps to take or where to go, start here. Figure out what the definitive purpose is and come back to the self-confidence formula. I'm definitely inspired to share it with you guys. So I'll find a version of it, a picture version or do something up where I can attach it here for you guys. I do have to go for now. I'm recording 2 podcasts today, and I'm pre-recording many in the upcoming weeks, because I'll be launching the Element of Growth Integration Station podcast this summer. And so we're doing a lot of work to bring that in right now, and to keep things on time for myself and make sure I reached this cheap aim in life right now. I'm gonna let you guys go and focus in on that. I love you all so much. I'll get this video out to everyone who wasn't able to make it here in person later on this afternoon, okay? I love you all so much. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Bye.